Yep. It's been a good Sunday morning today. See, I got up, I had to work on some things for me and my son. Then, of course, I went and watched Pastor Wooten today. Watched him on TV. Me and my son, we're gonna catch us a church service on Sunday. Here is his scripture. The scripture is never gonna fail. His message on today. In one part of his message, when he was talking about, trying to tell men, he felt like men should go ahead and, when they get a certain age, leave the household. That's where a lot of the black families failed. The older generation were taught to leave the house home and go get a job and work in plants and factory. But by them doing so, they neglected majority, one of the major parts of life was taking care of their home. They left the responsibility for raising sons to mothers. That's why the world is the way it is now. You have a lot of zesty boys out here, feminine character trait men, because fathers of the older generation were taught just to go work and get a job. And they left those certain responsibilities to the mother. Now, you have some tough mothers out there who raised some good men, but you also have some that didn't have the strength to do so. The father's job, main job, is to make sure he takes care of his son. I promise, and I told my son, as long as he's doing what he's supposed to do, when he get older, I don't care how long he stay with me. Because for one, it's going to keep the money inside the house. It keeps the money, any money he makes, I don't have to worry about him going out getting no apartment, where I don't have to go out there and worry about paying for it if he get behind. No, he can save his money. That's how you build wealth within the black community. But a lot of people, they don't realize that. When you force your children out of the house at a young age, the majority of that money is going to purchase homes that they can't even afford. So they're just in debt. And if they ever get behind, somebody's going to have to go bail them out. I know people that I've seen it happen plenty of times in the black community. And then people end up losing a lot of money they spent in consuming furniture, clothing, whatever they built to clutter up a house they were trying to own, and they lost them. They took a lot of great TV shows off of the networks many years ago. You had The Cosby Show. You had Full House, Family Matters. All those people stayed inside the home because what that does is keep the money inside the home. It creates the wealth inside the home. And when an older man talks about being the head of the household, you have women out there who make more money than the men. Don't focus so much on some of the old texts or the old ways of the world, because even in the Bible it says, slaves, listen to your master, but ain't nobody listening. Ain't nobody following that. So that's why it's important. You have to be wise and change with the ways of the world, but you also have to be prayed up, learn how to use your spirit, the discernment, learn how to save money. Because anytime you force a young individual or older individual, or you force your children out the house too soon, sometimes the family end up paying the ultimate cost. Because sometimes people go live in environments they shouldn't be staying in, or either they go out there and get a bunch of debt, and somebody either they lose a lot of money. It's important for fathers to learn how to stand up and be present in their children's life and allow them children to stay. You keep your boys home, and you make your boys turn into men. Your daughters, they gonna leave and go home when they get married, whenever they want to. But you keep your boys home. The ways of the world are constantly changing and evolving for certain reasons. White families have always raised their boys to own businesses. Black family, black men, we have not. The older ones, all they did went and work jobs, plants and factories, but they haven't taught their children how to do nothing, how to own a business. And that's how we have set our generations far and beyond. We don't teach about ownership. And it's not about going out there trying to buy a bunch of old houses and fix them up and flip them. That's the way that they need to stop that. They need to stop that. The housing market is about to crash. People ain't gonna be able to afford some of these homes. That is not a way to build wealth. That's how you keep people back in bondage and keep people in debt. Because anytime people go in there and start purchasing homes for cash, the amount of little money they give people for these homes, they set them back into a payment system. They're not allowing people to own or obtain them. For real, man. People need to be wise out here, man. Learn to be wise out here. Don't be get tricked out of your position either. Because when you think about it, a lot of the older men, even at their age, 60, 70 years old, still having to go out there and work. Why is that? Because they didn't know how to manage their money properly or time. Life is simple. Don't let this thing get too far ahead of y'all, man. Knowledge is power. Get into that word. Feed your spirit, feed your natural. Y'all be blessed, be encouraged.